So that is what you think.
Yes, for us to live together any longer would be an obscene joke. Let's just end it when we have some sanity and decency left.
Is that the best you can do in the way of sanity and decency? To talk like that?
Well, you'd like to cover it up with pretty words, wouldn't you? Well, we've had enough of that. I feel as though my face is covered in spider webs. I just want to brush them off and get clean again.
It's not my fault you've got weak nerves. Why don't you try to behave like a lady instead of a hysterical minor poet?
A lady, Helen, would have strangled you years ago. It takes a woman with crazy notions of freedom and generosity to be the fool I've been.
I suppose you blame me for your ideas.
I am past blaming anybody, even myself, Helen. Don't you realize that this has got to stop? We are cutting each other to pieces with knives.
You want me to go?
Or I'll go. It makes no difference. Only we've got to separate definitely and forever.
You really think there's no possibility of our finding some way? We might be able to find some way.
Found some way, Helen, twice before, and this is what it comes to. There are limits to my capacity of self-delusion. This has to be the end.
Yes. Only
what?
It seems such a pity.
A pity? The pity is this, that we should sit here and haggle about our hatred. That's all there is left between us.
I won't haggle, Paula. If you think we should part, we shall this very night. But I don't want to part this way. Paula, I know I've hurt you. I want to be forgiven before I go.
Oh, can't we finish without another sentimental lie? I am in no mood to act out a pretty scene with you.
That was unjust, Paula. You know I don't mean that. What I want is to make you understand, so you won't hate me. You are too strong, too self-confident. You had the air of a being that nothing could hurt. You were like a god.
That was a long time ago. Was I ever Olympian? I'd forgot it. You succeeded very well. You shattered that in me.
You're still Olympian. And I still hate you for it. I wish I could make you suffer now, but I have lost my power to do that.
Aren't you contented with what you've done? It seems to me that I have suffered enough recently to satisfy even your ambitions.
No, or you couldn't talk like that. You sit there making phrases. Oh, I've hurt you a little, but you will recover. You always recovered quickly. You're not human. If you were a human, you would remember that we once were happy and be a little sorry that all that is over. But you can't be sorry. You've made up your mind and can think of nothing but that.
Well, that's an interesting and novel explanation.
I wonder if I can't make you understand. Paula, do you remember when we fell in love?
Something of the sort must have happened to us.
No, it happened to me. It didn't happen to you. You made up your mind and walked in with the air of a god on a holiday. It was I who fell, headlong, dizzy, blind. I didn't want to love you. It was a force too strong for me. It swept me into your arms. I prayed against it. I had to give myself to you, even though I knew you hardly cared. I had to, for my heart was no longer in my own breast. It was in your hands to do what you liked with. You could have thrown it in the dust.
That is all very romantic and exciting, but tell me, did I throw it in the dust?
It pleased you not to. You put it in your pocket. But don't you realize what it is to feel like another person has absolute power over you? No, you've never felt that way. You have never been utterly dependent on another person for happiness. I was utterly dependent on you. It humiliated me, angered me. I rebelled against it, but it was no use. You see, my dear, I was in love with you. You were free, and your heart was your own, and nobody could hurt you.
Very fine, only It wasn't true as soon as you found out.
When I found it out, I could hardly believe it. It wasn't possible. Why, you had said 1,000 times that you would not be jealous if I were in love with someone else too. It was you who put the idea in my head. It seemed a part of your superhumanness.
I did talk that way, but I wasn't superhuman. I was only a damned fool.
And Paula, when I first realized that it might be hurting you, that you are human after all, I stopped. You know I stopped.
Yes, that time.
Can't you understand? I stopped because I thought you were a person like myself, suffering like myself. It wasn't easy to stop. It tore me to pieces. But I suffered rather than let you suffer. But when I saw you recover your serenity in a day, well, the love that I had struck down in my heart for your sake cried out in agony for months. I felt again that you were superior, inhuman. I hated you for it.
Did I deceive you so well as that?
When the next time came, I wanted to see if it was real, this godlike serenity. I wanted to tear off the mask. I wanted to see you suffer as I had suffered. And that is why I was cruel to you the second time.
And the third time, what was that about?
Oh, I can't talk about that. I can't. It's too near.
I beg your pardon. I don't wish to show any unseemly curiosity about your private affairs.
You are human. You would know that there's a difference between one's last love and all that have gone before. I can talk about the others, but this one still hurts.
I see. Should we chance to meet next year, you'll tell me about it then. The joys of new love will have healed the pains of old.
There will be no more joy or pain or love for me. You don't believe that. But that part of me which loves is dead. Do you think I have come through all this unhurt? No. I cannot hope anymore. I cannot believe. There is nothing left for me. All I have left is regret for the happiness that you and I have spoiled between us. Paula, why did you ever teach me your Olympian philosophy? Why did you make me think that we were gods and could do whatever we chose? If we had only realized that we were weak human beings, we might have saved our happiness.
We tried to reckon with facts. I cannot blame myself for that. The fact of human nature, people do have love affairs within love affairs. And I wasn't faithful to you.
But you had the decency to be dishonest about it. You didn't tell me the truth in spite of all your theories. I might have never found out. You knew better than to shake my belief in our love, but I trusted your philosophy, flaunted my lovers before you. I never realized.
Oh, be careful, my dear. You're contradicting yourself.
I know I am. I don't care. I no longer know what the truth is. I only know that I am filled with remorse for what has happened. Why did it happen? Why did we let it happen? Why didn't you stop me? I want it back.
Helen.
Yes, our old happiness. Don't you remember, Paula, how beautiful everything was? Give it back to me, Paula.
You really believe, Helen?
I know we can be happy again. It was all ours, and we must have it once more, just as it was. Paula. Paula!
Let me think!
Oh, you're thinking. I know. Think then. Think of all the times I've been cruel to you. Think of my wantonness, my wickedness, not of my poor, tormented attempts at happiness. My lovers. Yeah. Think hard. Save yourself from any more discomfort. But you're in no danger.
What do you mean?
You haven't believed what I've been saying this whole time, have you?
Almost.
Then don't. I've been lying.
Again?
Again, yes.
Oh, well, I suspected it.
Wise woman.
You don't love me, then.
Why should I? Do you want me to?
I make no demands upon you. You know that.
You can get along without me?
Why not?
Good. Then I'll tell you the truth.
Oh, well, that would be interesting.
I was afraid you did want me. And I was sorry for you, Paula. I thought if you did, I would try to make things up to you by starting over again, if you wanted to.
So that was it.
Yes, that was it. And so
You didn't say more. Will you go or shall I?
I'm going, Paula. But I think since we may not meet again this time next year, that I'd better tell you the secret of that third time. When you asked me a while ago, I cried, said I couldn't talk about it, but I can now.
You mean?
Yes, my last cruelty. I had a special reason for being cruel to you. Should I tell you?
Just as you please.
My reason was this. I had learned what it is to love, and I knew that I had never loved you. Never. I wanted to hurt you so much that you would leave me. I wanted to hurt you in such a way as to keep you from ever coming near me again. I was afraid that if you did forgive me, take me in your arms, you would feel me shudder, see the terror and loathing in my eyes. I wanted, for even then I cared for you a little, to spare you that.
Are you going?
Did you notice the date? It's the 8th of June. Do you remember what day that is? We used to celebrate it once a year. It's the day of our first kiss.